Good morning. Good morning. Happy Thursday, everybody. Hopefully, you all are doing well. We are here to talk a little golf, and we've got some college football playoff going on tonight as well. I'm trying to update something because I just saw Michael Thorbjornsen, I think, withdrew from this golf tournament. So I was a little bit interested in him. So need to do a little update on this here. And yeah, so we're gonna talk golf. I'm gonna give out some bets. I didn't tweet my golf stuff out yet just because I knew we were gonna talk about it on here. So I'll tweet it out after the stream, and then we'll talk Notre Dame, Penn State. If you're in the chat, please let me know kind of where your head's at for this Notre Dame Penn State game. I just can't. I don't think I can bet on the game. I've never typically. First of all, if you're betting on sports, like you should never be like. You should never go into something saying like, "Oh, I'm gonna bet on this," right? Like you should bet where you think the value is, and you should look at everything from all angles objectively, with no bias, and identify if you think there's value or not. So I'm never going to just bet on something just to bet on it. Like I'm never going to force anything. But I typically, if I look into a game a lot, I eventually, even if there's not value, I at least will, take a stand and take a side of the game. I'm not sure if I've ever been this torn on a football game. I literally can't decide what I think is the right spot. So we're definitely going to talk about that as well. But yeah, so if you're in the chat, let me know who you like, Notre Dame or Penn State, or if you like a side of the total, because I just can't. I can't decide. So starting off with golf, this is a weird tournament. It's still in Hawaii, and but the field is much less than what we saw last week, obviously at the Tournament of Champions. So we still have some big names, here on the board. Hideki, who won last week, Corey Connors, Tom Kim, Russell Henley, Keegan Bradley, but, really, a lesser field than what we saw last week. The course is also a little bit different. It is an easy course by all, tour standards. It's a very easy course, but it's not going to be a 35 under par, I don't think, for first place. It's an easy course, but not to the extreme of that. It's a little bit shorter course as well. So I don't care really when I look at this tournament. I like to look at obviously past success here on this course. Don't care much about length, but yeah, prior success. I like to see putting. Obviously, on all of these Hawaiian courses, putting is really big. Bermuda greens this week, so yeah, those are some things that stick out. Good iron play, obviously, per usual is a big factor as well. So I have a couple outrights that I'm taking, all pretty long odds. I'm not going to lay, 9-1 with Hideki or even 14-1 with Corey Connors. Maybe there's an opportunity to live bet those guys, throughout the week. But yeah, I'm going to take some longer odds stuff for my outrights this week. So I have 4 that I've taken. Benny Ann, who we bet on quite a bit last week, he didn't really come through for us, but we're going to go back to the well here. 33-1, I got him at for outright. So all my outrights this week, just 0.2 units, small stabs on these longer odds plays. So Benny Ann outright, 33-1. Luke Clanton outright at 30-1. If you guys don't know, about him, really, really, young kid. He kind of jumped up to number 1 in the world amateur ranking back over the course of the summer. He was playing really well in some of these PGA events he was getting into. He made the cut at the US Open, so I saw him in person when I was at Pinehurst on Sunday last summer. Yeah, he's 21, but really, really good up and coming golfer. Has a chance, I believe, to earn his tour card with a top 5 finish this week, I saw. But I mean, he in a field like this, like he's had success like in that fall swing when he was playing, and it was a kind of like a lot of lesser fields similar to this. Like this isn't a bad field, but it's really not that great either. Like I definitely could see, him having some success here. I like his game a lot. I'm a big fan of his. So Luke Clanton, 30-1, one of the other outrights that I grabbed there. Sass, what's up? Yeah, dude, I'm so happy golf is back, man. Like, obviously, I love football and I love to bet on football, and I think we're gonna go on a big run. Like, look, I don't really kind of like, I guess like we review stuff on this, but 3-0 in the NBA last night, which was a good night. Oh yeah, and to recap too, if you watch the stream yesterday, all I was talking about was Jared Allen. I mean, he had a huge game, went over its points prop, cashed the double double at plus 110. Cavs won the game as well, which I was on. So really good betting night last night. Absolutely smoked the playoffs last year. I think we're going to do the same this season. Yeah, I will. I'll check that out, Sass. I had to update things anyways because Michael Thorbjornsen withdrew. I'm pretty sure, so I had to make some changes there anyways. But yeah. So I think we're gonna crush the playoffs. We'll be talking NFL playoffs tomorrow on the stream betting, but I have multiple high unit plays on my card for this weekend, just because I think that it's that time of the year, with it being the playoffs. But continuing on, anyways, Luke Clanton 30-1 was another outright that I took, and then 2 longer odds ones. 1 Daniel Berger at 50-1, and then 2 Ben Griffin at 60-1. So Daniel Berger is someone that I've been a huge fan of. I don't know how long anyone watching this has followed me, but I have, really since I've always followed golf, but since sports betting went legal in Ohio, which was a few years ago, that's really when, I started kind of taking it more serious. But I've always been a big fan of Daniel Berger. I'm glad to see him back playing some good golf. This is the exact type of course setup that he can have success on because he's not long off the tee, and you don't really need to be here. You just need to be accurate, good with your irons. And I think it's a good setup for Daniel Berger. So I'll take a shot on him at 50-1. And then same exact situation for Ben Griffin, like really good golfer top to bottom, but not long off the tee. That's not going to hurt him here. I don't really like to bet on guys though that didn't play last week. Ben Griffin did not play last week, but yeah, 50-1. I'm fine taking 3, 4, 5 outrights when they're all longer odds plays. It's a little bit, easier to stomach than taking a bunch of 15-1s. When you're taking 30 plus to 1 on all your plays, you can take more of them. So those are my outrights. And then I'm going to do a bigger unit play on a top 40 parlay. Corey Connors and Luke Clanton. It pays about plus 103. So going for a little double up there. Hopefully, that 1 unit play hits, we double our money, and then regardless, we finish in the positive for the tournament, regardless of what happens with the outrights. At least that's my personal plan of how I'm attacking this tournament. If you guys want to, do it differently, I think that's fine. But yeah, I don't like in these. I don't really want to lay 9-1 on Hideki. I don't even really want to lay 20-1 on Tom Kim. I do like Russell Henley a little bit. I kind of have. I think Sam, if you guys remember him, that we used to have on the NFL streams and stuff. Like, I'm pretty sure Sam got me kind of just like I always end up betting or playing Russell Henley in DFS. So if you wanted to look at Henley at 21, I don't mind that don't mind that either. He just didn't make my card. And then another guy that didn't make my card but was close, Siwoo Kim. He won here last year. I also just have an obsession with Siwoo Kim. I think he's a really good underrated golfer. And 30-1 for a recent past winner at this course, not terrible. Love it. Had to lay it on Henley and Kim. Yeah, I don't mind it. Like Tom Kidd could win this tournament. Russell Henley could definitely win this tournament. Um, so I don't mind it, but I didn't want to have more than 3 or 4 outright plays. But all right. Yeah, that's the Sony Open. If you guys have any other questions, go ahead and ask. But let's talk college football here. And again, I just don't know what to do with this game. I don't think I'll be betting on this game. The line is Notre Dame -1.5, -120 on the money line. The total for the game is 45.5. So, you know, I just everyone is on the under in this game. It's like overwhelming, the stats. We're seeing 60 something percent, 60 plus percent of tickets come in on the under 45.5. It's looking like it's going to end up, juiced. It's -115 already on FanDuel. And when you just analyze the game, I understand why people would want to take the under. You have Drew Aller, who has struggled anytime he's faced, a good defense. He's struggled. So yeah, Notre Dame, very, very good defense on all 3 levels. So that makes sense. Penn State probably will struggle offensively. And then on the flip side, Notre Dame's passing offense has been non-existent. They've relied solely on running the football, Riley Leonard, and their other guys. I don't know if you're going to be able to do that against Penn State. Penn State has a very, very good, one of the best run defenses in the country. So if Penn State can take away the run and make Riley Leonard throw, I don't know how much success Notre Dame is going to have offensively. So in a vacuum, it would make sense to be on the under in this game. That being said, I hate when every single person is on the under in a game. Although I will say, I feel like I was on the under and everyone else was on the under in the Notre Dame Georgia game. And although that got a little wonky after that kick return to start the second half, the game did go under. So maybe that is just the right read. If I was going to take a side of this game or a bet in this game, I think I would have to go, either the under or a team total under. I mean, Penn State's team total is sitting at 22.5. Notre Dame's is sitting at 23.5. So I don't think overall I'm going to be betting on this game, but if I were, it would probably be on the under or one of those team total unders. I just don't see how I can bet a side of this game. It's tough because it's like both teams are playing into the strength of the opposing defenses. Now, if in a vacuum you just ask me Notre Dame or Penn State, I think Notre Dame is better, and I think they're better. I think they have a better coach. I would take Marcus Freeman over James Franklin if I had to pick one. So, yeah, if we're looking at those like kind of smaller factors, the lean for me would be Notre Dame, but I'm not going to sit here and say I'm betting on the game because I just don't think I am currently. For the game tomorrow night, Ohio State, Texas, I think Ohio State should win. It would take a epic Ryan Day performance and collapse for Ohio State not to win that game. The total's at 53.5. I might say I kind of like Texas team total under, although it's juiced over 23.5. If that could go up to 24.5, I would love the under. But I don't think, Ohio State's defense has been completely dominant in recent weeks. I really don't trust Quinn Ewers in a big game, very similar to Drew Aller. I just don't trust them in big games. I don't trust Texas to be able to score against this Ohio State defense. So I like Ohio State in that game. I think Ohio State, you guys know if you've been watching the streams, I said from the jump, even after that Michigan game, I said they're going to go to the national championship game. I still believe that. So, yeah, definitely like Ohio State in the game tomorrow. But this game tonight, I just can't. I have no conviction enough to make a play, but I would lean under and I would lean Notre Dame, I think. There are some like injury concerns though in this game. Abdul Carter, I think, is questionable, which that would be a huge loss, obviously, for Penn State. But Jeremiah Love, I just don't know if I can trust that Jeremiah Love is going to play or be healthy in this game. So I mean, we probably won't know until, close to kickoff whether or not those guys are playing, but that's definitely, a factor, most certainly. If we got news that like Abdul Carter was out, I mean, that would just be a very significant loss, I think. Someone in chat said they like Penn State. I just what I understand it because it's a 1.5 point spread. Like in all honesty, it's probably like a coin flip game, but it's like why would I want to sign up to bet money on James Franklin in a big game? There sounds like that sounds like the worst possible scenario that you could have, right? Like there would truly be nothing worse than betting money on James Franklin in a big game. I just couldn't do it. So yeah, I don't know. I'll probably just save myself the torture. We'll talk more NFL tomorrow, but looking ahead, I think that parlaying Ohio State with an NFL team money lines is a pretty good look. I think probably like Buffalo, honestly. I mean, you're paying like -130 for Ohio State and Buffalo. That sounds like that could be a pretty big play for me, to be honest. I made a TikTok last night, and then there's a podcast with me and Steve coming out today on the YouTube channel, but I talked about it on there as well. I think there's been some people on Twitter that have tweeted this out in recent years, like the trend of first-time playoff quarterbacks facing experienced playoff quarterbacks or quarterbacks that have made playoff starts already. There's 3 instances of that this season: Bo Nix against Josh Allen, Jane Daniels against Baker, and Sam Darnold against Matt Stafford. So for me, I to be honest with you, like just early look ahead at these playoff lines, I think Buffalo and the Rams are my 2 favorite spots. Like I'm pretty tired of the Denver Broncos. They had a good season. They made the playoffs. They can be excited about Bo Nix, but I just don't think that they're on the level of some of these other playoff teams. And they really haven't beaten anybody good. Like if we look at the Broncos top to bottom, like who they've played this season, I mean, like regular season, they lost to the Seahawks, lost to the Steelers. They went into Tampa and blitzed them in week 3. So that's like a good win over a playoff team, right? But that was all the way back in week 3. Then there's since Tampa Bay in week 3, here's their wins, right? Jets, terrible. Raiders, terrible. Saints, terrible. Panthers, terrible. Falcons with a immobile Kirk Cousins, terrible. Non-playoff team. Raiders again, terrible. Browns, terrible. Colts, not good. And then, they played the Chargers again. They lost to the Chargers 2 times. They played the Bengals in week 17. They lost, right? They played the Ravens, a good team. They lost 41-10. So I'm really just not buying that the Broncos are some good team. Now they're on the road in Buffalo. I like Buffalo big in that game. I think Buffalo is my favorite overall spot in this weekend. And then the Rams, I mean, I like to fade these first-time playoff quarterbacks. Sam Darnold, he didn't look good, and the team, looked as bad as they've looked all season in their last game in what was a huge game to win the NFC North. So that doesn't inspire much confidence for me. I have more confidence in Sean McVay, Matt Stafford, Cooper Kupp, these guys that have been there and done it. And honestly, like the Rams have played really well, like down the stretch of the season, and they have their core, offense healthy. Matt Stafford, Kyron Williams, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua. So I'm not even going to bet that +1.5. I like the Rams on the money line. So Rams and Bills are my 2 favorite early look spots for this weekend, but we'll talk more in depth tomorrow about it, and we'll go through some props. If you guys remember, I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago. There was that I think it was 2 years ago. It was a playoff weekend, and we did a parlay, first touchdown scorer in, like, 3 games or 4 games, and we hit I think it was 3 games, and we hit the first 2, and we coulda did something crazy if that last one hit. So we'll be running that back for sure. I'll be doing a first touchdown parlay for this weekend. I'll have some other touchdown picks. I have 2 blogs already up for free on rollinginsights.com. So if you guys want to read some more in-depth thoughts, I've already posted the Chargers, Texans, and the Ravens, Steelers breakdowns over on the blog. Those are free to read, and I'll have one up for every single playoff game. So today, I'll have the Bills, Broncos out, and then probably the what's the next game? Eagles, Packers. So those will all be out by tomorrow night, though, for every single game this weekend. So go check those out for free. And I put some touchdown picks in there as well for each game. We'll talk about it on stream tomorrow as well, and we'll craft up a first touchdown. There's one guy that I like that's really long odds that I think could be interesting, at least for an anytime touchdown. And his line is like 7-1 for an anytime touchdown, and I think it's a pretty interesting spot. So we'll talk about that tomorrow as well. But overall, if you guys want to replay the stream, if you joined late, I gave out some golf picks. I'll tweet them out as well. And talked a little bit Sony Open at the top of the stream. Not really looking to bet on this college game tonight, but yeah, we'll see what happens when the injury news comes out. Like if I see Abdul Carter's not going to play or something, I might jump on Notre Dame then. But overall, good luck with your bets tonight. Good luck with DFS if you're playing that, all that good stuff. I will be live tomorrow, 11 a.m. We'll talk NFL, and we'll build some first touchdown parlays. We'll look at the SportWise tool here. Like yesterday, we already identified one, big bet in my opinion. I have the Eagles power rated as the second best team in football and ahead of the Lions, and obviously the Lions have better odds to go to the Super Bowl than them. So I'll be on some Philly futures, but we'll talk more tomorrow. Good luck with your bets today, and I'll see everybody tomorrow at 11.